BYDFi is a crypto exchange on desktop and mobile where you can spot trade, futures trade, use leverage tokens, and copy the trades of top traders. If you sign up with the link in the description, you get a free $100 when you deposit $100. There's hundreds of crypto available on their spot exchange, as well as a free test account so you can practice futures trading without getting wrecked. BYDFi. Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at, well, today we're going to look at VRA, considering it did that massive move recently. I want to know if it's got any legs left in it. It might do, in all fairness, it definitely might do. But first we'll start off with a little bit of Dixie. So we've got one drive of bearish divergence on the way up here on the daily. It's not much, but it's something at least. Continuation on the way up though, every other aspect of this chart. Looks pretty sweet, I have to say. I'll check it on the 4 hourly though to see what's going on here. So two drives of bearish divergence below the Bollinger Band Center. Still bullish with a view to come down to 105.2 or 105.5. We've got to really think about what it is that the Dixie is, obviously. You know, we used to do it this way, and I suppose we still should. So we got one drive of bullish divergence on the euro in the context of a continuation of a downtrend. Again, you know, nothing more than death cross retest part 1 on the 4 hourly here, which is your 50 exponential moving average. And if we take it to a daily, there's really not much signs of life here, to be honest. Looking for some form of reversal to take place in the short term, but again, the trend itself just going from strength to strength, as in downtrend strength. Strength for bears, that would be. Right, with that, let's have a quick look at S&P. So the S&P 200 exponential moving average on the daily. So if we're going to see some form of decent reaction, we should be seeing it here. Also coincides with this uptrend of support that we've been in since we marked off the bottom. And retested it here, and again, if we're going to bounce at any point, this should be like a major bounce for it right now. So looking for something good to happen. Also, two drives of bullish divergence on a very low money flow index read. So normally when you see things like that, well, I suppose it's hidden bullish divergence, but it should count for something. Normally two drives is enough to actually cause some decent upside on a money flow index, rather than waiting for 3 magical drives on the RSI. So I think S&P should have a move up on this one. First target is only going to be 4,300. Next target, more or less just short of 4,400. Bollinger Band Center sort of stuff. So overall, you know, as far as Forex is concerned, we might be looking at some reversal. I was expecting to see something a bit more than this yesterday. I know that the S&P closed up a percent, so that was the 24 hours worth of upside that I was waiting for, and the reaction did happen, so fair enough. But it wasn't felt across the board. The correlation for crypto is not felt whatsoever. So let's move on to Bitcoin just very briefly, up 0.5% currently, but unfortunately on the 4 hourly below a Bollinger Band Center, but we are above a 21 exponential moving average, which should count for a fair bit. 50 exponentials down here at 27,300, and if we take it to a daily, what's the daily suggesting? 26,900 for like a major support really, and possibly 27,300 for a decent support as well. So two major areas to think about positions from. First being 27,003. And second being 26,009. Right, let's move on to the magical VRA then, shall we? So, huge, massive move. And for the most part, you know, you'd be looking to exit a position like this. 96% on the money flow index, which is normally a get out of town sort of scenario. So have a look at the 4 hour to see if she's reset at all. So we had bearish divergence all the way up, and yeah, so we managed to hit what 0.71 of a cent, and looking like we're looking to consolidate further. Now on the 4 hourly there is a Bollinger Band retest at the moment, but without any kind of bullish divergence on the way down, it's hard to imagine that that's going to hold it on its own, but it is there, so there's a potential area to take a position right now. The 1 hourly is breaking all the way down to with a view to hit 0.53 of a cent, maybe 0.5 of a cent. All of this is absolutely realistic. Excuse me. But the weekly is something that's worthy of talking about. Now, we were looking at this on a Patreon. I was surprised to see it. I kind of am not entirely sure if I believe it, but the money flow index is actually saying I can go a hell of a lot higher than this, like really high. The volume is up massively even today. The 24-hour trading volume is huge on this one, because normally it doesn't trade for much more than 1 million, so it's up, you know, 20x as far as volume is concerned. But if it's volume that we're talking about, then the money flow index can overheat way higher than where it is right now. And if that's the case, we will be looking to break this major support, which is 0.74 of a cent, and maybe make our way all the way up to like just around 1.15 of a cent, which is a huge move. Another huge epic move, similar to what happened over here. So a big move up to the resistance, a little bit of a pullback, and then a massive overheated explosion, which still took a couple of weeks before it died down again. So we could easily see something like that. MACD crossing up above the 0 point on the weekly, hopefully, if we can sustain this this price or higher. So yeah, it actually looks like the weekly has got further to run. And again, we're talking weekly here, so we need obviously every other altcoin, well, Bitcoin especially, to behave itself, because otherwise this will come down to dramatic effect. Like I say, probably down to 0.5 of a cent or lower. But overall, this is not too bad, and it does show that there is life in the old dog yet. Like, a lot of people snub this coin for whatever reason. Well, what a lot of people don't get is that crypto doesn't necessarily have to move because something's good about the project. I hear a lot of bad things about VRA. I hear some good things about it. I'm not the fundamentals kind of guy. But what I do recognize about VRA is that there's a lot of people that still like it. And with a large community, that's kind of all it usually takes, really, to see huge parabolic runs, similar to the one that we actually saw that we did pretty well out of, basically, at the end of 2021. This one yielded close to a 10x, really, from our position. So really, really epic moves can take place. And look, just because something did something once doesn't mean it'll do it again. But I don't know if anyone's ever, I suppose, thought about it, but game tokens, GameFi tokens, however you want to pigeonhole them, however they want to be labelled, are likely to play like a major role in the next altcoin bull market. So this may or may not actually be good for those sort of things. I know that it's affiliated with all of that. That's effectively its point. But similar to the AI boom that we've seen in traditional markets and in crypto, you don't actually have to have a fully working, operational, or successful business to have your stock rally just through association with what's cool at the moment. I suppose like miniature.com bubbles, really. So, we should likely see this move through association with the success, if that is what happens, of GameFi tokens, because that's basically what it is. People will buy into it. Oh, but this is going to be up and away we go. Even if it is a pile of Shiite, it could still quite easily run through association with that kind of vibe, which is quite likely. In all fairness, it is quite likely. People will look at the chart, see what it's done in the past. It doesn't take much to move a chart like this that usually trades at quite low volume. And again, we saw this volume go up at least 5 times to create this move here. I think we looked at this like just over a week ago on the Patreon. It was trading. It was starting its move, and it was trading at 3 million, which is normally higher than it normally trades. And then now today it's 20 million, and we've done like a sizable move from this support to basically this resistance, like 68% move. So fair play if that's what it takes. And so obviously when money starts to flow into things like this, then this could easily break above the sell walls and start to make big strides back up, back to 2 cents, 3 cents, 5 cents, and then beyond. It doesn't take too much to get there, really. And I'm talking about this moving through association with other GameFi tokens. But the sell walls are quite clear, which is why the money flow index on the weekly was most interesting to me, because if we did break above here, despite being like massively overheated on the daily term time frame, which definitely does suggest further pullback in the short term, the weekly could get picked up and smash through here and then move up to basically quite close to this peak, and we'll be talking like a cent. So that, from where we are right now, is probably another 80% move from here. Obviously, if we come further down, back down to like half a cent, you move up to a cent, you've doubled your money. Again, high risk, high returns on stuff like this. I shouldn't underestimate the the risk that you undertake when you're trying to trade VRA, especially after a move like what's happened recently. But it's just worth pointing out, if you do hold VRA, like myself, you know, and are unwilling to sell it and allow for it to, you know, to reach whatever peak it does later on down the line next year or the year after that, then yeah, we could easily see this catapult back up to previous highs and beyond. Especially if GameFi tokens become cool again. But long story short, daily's overheated, 4 hourly and doesn't have any bullish divergence. But if there is a glimmering hope on this one, it's that there is a huge sell wall here about 0.72 of a cent, and the money flow index on the weekly says actually if we do get above there, then we could really push quite high, you know, above 1 cent basically. So that's a decent move. Right, that's pretty much all I've got to say on this one. Markets is looking a little tired still at the moment, and much rides on Dixie and not so much S&P, but that should you know, hopefully, you know, continue on up. But yeah, the market is behaving a little weird. If you've looked at gold's price, really weird. Gold has basically fallen out of the absolute sky, and is not looking very happy or healthy at all whatsoever. Looks awful, in fact. So yeah, surprising, and almost like an anomaly. Really, can't quite understand why gold has been hit so hard. And if there is going to be some form of reversal, it should be happening around these levels, but that would be a reversal of its current trend in the short term, because the overall trend from its previous major high over here, it's quite clear that it's still down. But yeah, a bounce should be occurring, I would expect, around this level. And if Dixie continues to move down, or does actually play out that bearish divergence that we've seen, then that should help. Obviously, you know, operative word being should, not will. But yeah, S&P does point to further upside. Dixie does point to a little bit further downside, and gold hopefully will see some kind of bounce. And Bitcoin, well, who the hell even knows? Right, I'll leave it with you there. But thank you for watching. Good luck out there, and take it easy.